Hi, how are you? Welcome back to another segment of Coffee and Connections with the Chief. I'm Chief Dean Rondo, and to my left is my Executive Officer, Captain Mark Livy, and to my right is our newest Sergeant, Sergeant Mike Strock, and his adorable partner, K9 Riggs. And we're here with another segment. We're finally out of the winter months. It was a brutally long winter. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but it was long. And I'm glad it's over. So, having said that, just a couple of things that I want to bring to everybody's attention. There was a considerable, not just in Wolfeboro, but throughout the entire state, there was a considerable amount of road damage from the freeze-thaw cycles that occurred. There were ruts in the road, frost heaves, soft shoulders, a lot of water runoff. There's a lot of water issues this year. It was just because of the season that we had. You need to be mindful of that. Our very talented town work crews and state work crews are out there. They were rebuilding the roads, repairing the roads, taking care of mitigating those water runoff issues. But the shoulders are still soft. The roads are still in somewhat a state of disrepair, even though we've been at it now for about 45 days or so. So you need to really go slow. You need to be mindful of your speeds. Be careful. Remember, the shoulders are soft, so they're going to give out. So what that means is if you're driving on the shoulder, the car could flip and roll. So keep it between the lines, and be mindful of the road conditions. Also, with the month of May, we have a couple of holidays coming up. One obviously is Mother's Day. All right, everybody's got a mom out there, right? So that is 12 May. So make sure you're paying attention to that and take mom out for dinner or provide breakfast and do her a favor. So take care of your mom. The other thing is we've got Memorial Day coming up at the end of the month. What is that? I mean, that really is the unofficial kickoff of summer, right? And everyone's going to be coming up to their camps and their cottages and their homes and coming up to the lakes region to enjoy the beauty that is Wolfeboro. So be mindful of the traffic, right? Leave in the morning. This is we live in a very beautiful area, vacation area. Leave 15 minutes early or 10 minutes early for your appointments and your destinations because you know that there's going to be a lot of traffic on the roads. Having said that, school, though, will most likely go through the month of June. School will be out soon, but because the warm spring and the early summer is upon us, the kids will be out. They'll be riding their bikes after the long winter. They'll be on the roads. They'll be walking to school. So be mindful of that. You want to be careful of the children out there. And of course, having said that, our speed patrols and our summer patrols will be gearing up. We always gear it up at this time of year, right? There's no mysteries here. So expect extra patrols on the roads as we participate in and we partner with New Hampshire Highway Safety and the National Federal Safety Institute, Highway Safety Institute, and we're taking advantage of those highway grants and federal funded patrols. So we'll be out there doing speed interdiction and safe commute programs. The click it or ticket programs will be in full swing, along with our drug interdiction programs. Our highway warning signs, speed warning signs, and radar trailer will be out in the areas that have shown to have problems over the past few months. And let me give you a little hint here if you're not paying attention. You see those roadway warning signs that tell you to slow down, and you see our warning radar trailer out there. There's probably a police officer close by. So word to the wise, you see those signs, it's because there's a problem. It's been determined that there's a problem in that area, and that's where those signs have been placed there as a convenient reminder. All right, so word to the wise, there's a police officer close by, and you want to avoid getting stopped. You want to avoid getting a ticket. Okay, so just again, you see the warning signs, slow down. Okay, it happens to us all. All right, we get busy in our lives. I get it. I understand it all too well. Just slow down. So having said that, now I'm going to turn it over to Captain Mark Livy. I'll give you a quick operational update, and then we're going to turn it over to Sergeant Mike Strock and his adorable K9 rigs. Captain?
Hey, thanks, Chief. So a couple of things that are going on inside the PD and operational-wise. So we'll start with dispatch. So basically, Cody Lloyd, who's part-time, should be finishing the FTO sometime in the beginning of May here. Then he'll be out on his
Very
by
nice
himself.
young man.
Yeah,
Very
so,
nice young man.
he works full-time over at Carroll County Dispatch, so it's nice to use this, that somebody else is, somebody that actually is out on dispatch, doing dispatch over in Carroll, and be able to come over here. It makes the training a little easier. Basically, we're just showing how to do things our way. So with that said, some of the operations stuff that for the PD, police department. So we're trying to hire our 14th officer. So I'll give you that little process, how that works. So we start with a PT test, which was back in the first week of April. And we used Brewster Academy. They allowed us to use their track, which is nice of them. So we're indoors because in April we still had snow on the track and everything. So that would have made it a challenge for them to run out in the track. So from that process on, then we go into an oral board, whoever passes the PT test and stays with the process. So we usually have 4 for our panel, and the commissioners are usually involved with that process on the side. They're not asking the questions, they're just there and view it so they can see all the candidates going for this position. So once that's done, from the panel, from their rating sheets, it gets passed over to the commissioners, and the commissioners will make a decision on who they want to hire as our 14th officer. Once that process is in, then we'll start the process for the academy, which will be the 180 Academy, which that doesn't start until September 3rd. So realize now it's May. This new officer won't start into the academy until September 3rd is the first day. Mm-hmm. That actually is a 16-week program. So that goes all the way to just before December 20th, I believe it is.
Right before Christmas.
The week before Christmas. So that individual will then get out for the week of Christmas, start working, but in an FTO, which is our field training. So then they got to go through 8 to 12 weeks of a field training process, which that involves most likely going with 3 officers that are out on currently out on the road, and observing them, and then him getting out there, taking some calls through that process. So if you look at it right now, we're in May, so this officer should be ready sometime by next March or April. So it is a process, so you got to bear with us on this. As our cases right now coming into May, when we get to June, I'll give you the halfway mark of how things are going compared to last year and the years prior. Cases are involved.
Complex.
So as he says, it's complex. So we have a lot of cases. We have a lot of felony cases. We have a lot of felony drug cases. They are very complex and a lot of paperwork, which means our officers are getting pulled from the roadway because I love them to use the MBTs that are out there, but some of these reports are 5 to 8 pages long and time consuming, and you can't do that in a cruiser. The minor little ones, yeah, they can be out there, they're on the side of the road, they're working on their stuff, catching up as much as possible, correcting reports, all that good stuff, our supervisors. But a lot of these complex cases, investigations, it brings them back inside. Our detective is swamped right now, I can say that. So I'm actually, if we go back into April here, at the end of April, I'm actually covering some shifts because it's that busy right now.
This is one of the busiest years coming out of the winter. So winter's traditionally, the winter time, and I don't want to mislead anybody, but the winter time has traditionally been a slower time of year. Not that it's slow, it's been slower than the summer, but this past winter has been very busy. As the captain has alluded to, we've had a lot of complex cases. Um, felony cases are a completely different matter entirely. They require a lot of work, a lot of investigation, very lengthy reports, and there's some other reports and forms that just simply cannot be done in the MDT system. So it does take the officers off the road, but this is really one of the busiest seasons I can remember in a long time, in a very long time, maybe going back to 2000.
Especially when we're coming
yeah.
into May here,
Yeah.
which that starts building up, like he said earlier. All the summer tourists are coming up here. Granted, we had a lot in the winter, but we have a very large amount of people coming up during the summertime, as he says, to their homes, second homes, to their camps, and that brings a lot of activity for us. To be honest with you, there's a lot of activity on the roadway. There's a lot of activity downtown. And so, unfortunately, you do have crashes, you do have other incidents, and it brings a lot of casework to us.
One thing I do want to mention, and in light of what the captain said, because it's very intuitive, what the captain said, the population density has really grown tremendously, and as a result of that, our activity has increased tremendously as well. There seems to be a misnomer, very common misnomer here in Wolfeboro, that because we're Wolfeboro, because we're on the lake, because no one is up here in the wintertime, and none of that's true anymore. The dynamic has really changed. And I know it's hard for some people to rationalize or to understand. Maybe they're not necessarily out as much as we are on the roads every day. But just pay attention to the density of traffic on our roadways, our highways and byways here within Wolfeboro. Just pay attention to it. It is busy, and it's busy all year long, and it's just going to get busier. And the Wolfeboro of 1957, which you may gleefully remember as a child or as a young adult, or the Wolfeboro of even 1987 that you may remember as a child or young adult, those days are gone. They don't exist no more. That ship has sailed. You're no longer on it. And Wolfeboro is very busy. It's very cosmopolitan. And no, it's not like Boston. I'm not saying that. It's not like Worcester. I'm not saying that either. But it's very busy. It's grown. And with the advent of computer technology and the internet and Skype and video conferencing, people are choosing to live where they want to. And they'll work from home and do their work from home and attend a board meeting or a council meeting in Boston or Worcester or New York or Philadelphia once a month or once a quarter, and then come back home. And that's what we're seeing. That is exactly what we're seeing. And we're seeing the dog get a little restless, which is good.
He wants to work.
Yeah, so
he wants to work.
The
So that's what's going on.
The big factor that I want to get out is when we get into the May and the summer months, we still have the same amount of personnel as we do in the wintertime. So bear with us. We're out there. We will get to everything. You're going to see us out on the roadways. Nothing's going to change. So I just want to make sure everyone realizes that.
And you'll see me out there.
So
I'll pick up a few shifts and along with the captain, and you'll see me out there. So say hello.
So a little change that we're looking at is in dispatch. Right now, if you've been into our PD, which most of everyone has, we have this very large window that dispatchers actually communicate with the public when they come in. So this has been a concern of the chief and I's for many years since we've taken this position, and prior to it when we were officers and he was sergeants and he was lieutenants, is basically looking at this window and the dispatcher, the only dispatcher that we have on shift, and we have some safety concerns there. So with these safety concerns, I'm not going to get into really the big picture of it all, but we have some major safety concerns, not just for our dispatchers that are inside the room, but for our officers that are out in the roadway and our firefighters that are out in the roadway. Remember, dispatch is the hub of
Activity.
of Wolfeboro.
The nerve center.
They just do police, they do fire, they do the electric after hours,
EMS.
they do EMS, they do highway safety, highway safety, highway department, public works. We take all those phone calls. There is a lot of phone calls that do come in on a daily basis, basically, in dispatch. So they are very busy in there. And with all the activity that some of our officers a proactive one too. So we're trying to address that. There's a good chance that we're moving forward that we're going to remove this window. What it's going to be is there's going to be a TV on the dispatcher side so they can see everything that's in the lobby. There's going to be an intercom on the other side. The face-to-face with dispatchers, you probably won't see that, but we're going to make it so you still have that face-to-face interaction. It's more likely going to be with an officer. During the day, you could see a dispatcher come out into the lobby and talk to you. So we're trying to see what works for everything out there, and we're really trying to look at that and see what that picture is going to look like. So bear with us. We might have some changes in the lobby as we move forward, but those are some changes that are going to be happening in the upcoming months. So as that comes around, I'll pass this along to Sergeant Strock.
Thank you, Captain. Yep, I'm Sergeant Mike Strauch. I was promoted to sergeant in January of this year, and I'm currently in charge of the services division, which encompasses a lot of extra duties. Still muddling my way through and learning things. And if you haven't noticed already, the slight distraction here on my right would be K9 Riggs. I'll get into him real quick. So Riggs here is my K9 partner. He is a 5-year-old chocolate lab that we got from the Netherlands, and that he loves to work. He was done. The program here was funded by donations from the public, mostly all of Wolfeboro. So thank you again for that. It was because of your generosity that this happened, and continues to happen. Everything that that he does, basically, his vet bills, his food, everything is all coming out of donation. So again, thank you for that. He thanks you, but he doesn't like to sit still. He always wants to be working. But Riggs is certified in tracking, evidence detection, which is guns, firearms, anything. All right, you want to just come up here? I know. He's a very social dog as well, if you can't tell. But, okay. Seat. Good. Tracking, drugs, and evidence recovery. I attended training with the New Hampshire State Police in 2015, did a 16-week patrol school followed by a 10-week drug school, and I am certified through NESPAC, which is basically the State Police Administrators Conference. So I train consistently to maintain my certification as well as proficiency, but he's been used for everything from searching for missing kids, wanted people, had some great drug seizures, things like that. But I would say that majority of what he does is just being social with the public. Everyone loves this dog. I can't go anywhere without people coming up and wanting to pet him and say hi. Yes, I know. But he's been great. Coming into May here, he's been swimming. He's happy. That's probably why he wants to be outside right now. But yeah, if you see us around at all, please stop by, say hi. Again, this is Riggs, and he's very, very social. Aren't you?
And Sergeant Strock has a bachelor's degree from Curry College.
Yep.
In criminal justice.
Criminal justice, yes I do.
So, which is awesome. We're getting to the point here in the PD that almost all of our men and women to Clue Dispatch have 4-year degrees. So I have a very educated police department like no other time in I think the history of our agency. And the other thing is that we definitely have a waiting list of personnel wanting to come to the department, both in dispatch as well as on the law enforcement side. So again, it tells me that we're doing something right here at the PD, and I'm glad to see that. And thank you for tuning in. I hope you had some takeaways from this. My name is Chief Rondo, and again, I'm here with Captain Mark Livy, my executive officer, and our newly promoted Sergeant Mike Strock, our K9 officer and services division commander. And thank you for tuning in to Coffee and Connections, and stay tuned for your safety tip of the month. Thank you very much. how are you? I'm Chief Dean Rondo, and welcome back to Coffee and Connections with your Chief. And I am going to talk about and give you your safety tip of the month. So it's May. It's beautiful outside. Really is nice. We've been locked up inside for quite a while. Long winter. Motorcycles are everywhere, and bicycles, they're everywhere too. So you got a lot of two-wheeled vehicles on the road, motorcycles and bicycles. Be mindful, be cautious. They're everywhere. So they don't have the same stopping characteristics as automobiles do. Give them a wide berth, give them the room that they need to operate safely, and be mindful. Be mindful of which way they're going. And if you don't ride a motorcycle, I don't ride a motorcycle, but I know how they operate. And so very different dynamic than an automobile. And you need to give them a little bit of room, and don't crowd them, and be mindful of which way they're going. So again, safety tip of the month: motorcycles, they're everywhere. Bicycles, they're everywhere too. Pay attention to the bicycle lanes. You'll see those marked on the roadways. We have them here in Wolfeboro, and give them the distance that they need to operate safely. And the summertime, the late spring and early summer, it's going to be busy. So leave a few minutes early before your destination. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee and Connections with the Chief, and I'll see you next month. Thank you. Bye-bye.